Alright, let's jump back into the insanity. Demon Souls, Soul Level 1, New Game Plus 7, Pure Black World Tendency, melee attacks only. In the previous part we went through all of World 1, so now it's time to complete all areas of the second Archstone. I'm using my trusted winged spear with Moon Infusion, as most of the enemies here are weak to both piercing damage and magic. I'm not in Hypermode yet, and that's for good reason, as we actually going to make use of our shield this time, as we are going to face off against the most dreaded enemies in all of Soulsborne. There's an ambush of 3 dogs behind that stack of vases, and you are actually able to kill at least one, if not all of them, if you blast a soul ray right through. But that's not allowed in this run. So instead, let's clear away some of the enemies first, and then, well, basically hope for the best. Let's see if I can ambush them instead. Well, that's 2 and I just so happen to be in Hypermode now, but let's not risk it as there is still 1 dog left. Just block its bites and attack from behind your shield. And there we go. Now let's hope I won't die before opening the shortcut, so I won't have to go through all of that again. Make sure to leave at least 1 enemy alive in order to get back into Hypermode. Be careful around these fat ministers, they have the tendency to hit you right before you're about to strike them. Even in Hypermode they take several hits. Another benefit of the spear is that you won't cancel out your attack by hitting the wall. What's unfair though is that the enemies don't have that same problem. That's one of the things I like about Neo over Souls games, the enemies actually follow the same rules as your own character. This is another place where it's important to know where the enemies are, so you won't die the second you walk around the corner. Well, isn't that awkward? The worst thing is that I was already at the right place, so there was no need to go all the way back around. You can ignore all these enemies, they won't attack you unless you attack them first. When you are in Hypermode, you do need to be aware of how little health you have left. You don't take that much fall damage in Demon's Souls, but you will deplete the small amount of HP you have faster than you might think. So make sure you have a blessed weapon on hand, as healing with grass will mean that you have to find a way to get back into Hypermode again. Even Crescent Moon grass will give you too much health back. Activating this lever will open up the shortcut. So no need to worry about fighting dogs again. Well, at least not the same ones from before, as there is another group of dogs guarding the second shortcut. Whoops, wrong way. There is an ambush around the corner, so make good use of the clipping issues that From Software never bothered to fix for some reason. These fire lizards are deadly to the touch, so attack them from as far away as your spear allows you to. Now it's time to face off against dogs again, so make sure to heal yourself so you can survive blocking their attacks. Also, pray to the RNG gods that you will be able to lure them up here one at a time. Well, that went better than expected. Only a couple of enemies left until the second shortcut, but be aware that they need 2 hits to kill instead of 1, now you're not in hyper mode. And now we really don't have to worry about dogs again. Unfortunately, there are no enemies left here, so we need another way to enter hyper mode. If this was Dark Souls 2, you could just skip a step on the stairway and lose 90% of your health. But in this game the process is a bit more tedious, so make sure to equip the Makoto sword to speed up the process. Break the first set of barrels and then let the enemy clear away the rest while you keep your distance. You can hide behind these wooden beams to block the fire projectiles. Don't run too fast here, as there is a boulder that will drop down and you can actually take a hit from the debris after it breaks apart. Nah, just ignore him. I do like the concept of there being extra enemies when the world is in pure black tendency, but to be honest, it generally doesn't add that much. Now all we have to do is take the elevator down and then it's time for another boss battle. The armored spider is a rather annoying boss because of the constant barrage of projectiles, but if you are wearing the Thieves Ring, he won't even start firing until you're close enough to get behind cover. After entering the fog well, just run up to him, dodge his projectile and get behind cover. Now you want him to attack with his front legs. These can be rolled through, and then you can follow up with an R2 and then roll away. The same thing applies when he falls down. Just roll into the attack and you won't take a hit. I'm not really sure what happened there. When he starts charging up his flame breath, the battle is basically over. A couple of hits will be enough. Alright, so far so good. That fight wasn't all that hard, but the next boss is a completely different story. We're now entering the hardest part of the entire game. Flameworker is up next, and what makes things even worse is that every time you fail, you have to do the same annoying run back over and over again. There are two ways to make sure that you are in Hypermode when you reach the boss. Either make use of the fall damage that you will inevitably take before getting there, or block attacks from the first enemy and then equip the cat ring to prevent taking any fall damage. If you use the first method, you will probably still have too much health left when you reach the bottom, so you'll probably want to equip the Makoto sword when running up to the fog wall. The first time you get here, it can be quite annoying to figure out the precise way to fall down without dying, but if you fail enough against Flameworker, you will never ever forget the correct route to take. On new game though, Flameworker is still quite manageable even with a Soul Level 1 character, as it is still possible to block his attacks, at least some of them, although your damage output will be shit without Hypermode. However, doing it with melee attacks on New Game Plus 7, it means that you have to dodge every single attack while watching out that you don't step on any of the spots that have lava, as even the floor can kill you in this fight. Moreover, merely touching the boss himself will also mean instant death. There is one thing that you can take advantage of though, because here we have another example of how overpowered the Thieves Ring is. If you stick to the right after you enter the boss room, you can actually circle all the way around and sneak up behind the boss. It won't help you out that much, but at least you can deal some pretty heavy damage before the fight even starts. Now clench your sphincter and prepare for some really precise dodges. Flameworker is incredibly aggressive and it gets worse the lower his health gets. Always nice if you can see. And watch out for the lava. The R2 attack of the spear is a jump that propels you forward, so it will help close the gap when you need to keep your distance. Alright, that's halfway. I think I got this. Or maybe not. Now, not to worry, let's just try that again. God damn it, those explosions are so fucking cheap. Well, they say third time's the charm. And apparently that hit me, isn't that nice? Well, just keep trying, I guess. Roll away from the explosion, wait for his attack and roll through it, and I still got hit. Okay, this time let's run away after attacking him. It's probably best to wait for the right opportunity to strike. At least if this fucker would let me. Well, 6 is my lucky number since grade school, so... Oh, fuck me! Okay, this time I can't even get started. You know, all these deaths are just starting to blend together. Oh, sneeze on my dick! Oh, no way that still hit me. Maybe an early dodge will work. You know, I'm wearing flammable clothing, so maybe if I just fight him in my underwear? now that works a lot better. Now carefully dodge.
But then, after so many deaths, you'll reach a point where you reach deep within the abyss that is your soul. Your vision becomes blurry, yet you see everything clearer than before, and your fingers start moving by themselves. You've reached a point of awareness that you never thought possible.
I want you to do me a favor, Phil.
What?
Say cheese.
Cheese makes all the difference. Hooray! On all kinds of vegetables, cheese makes all the difference.
Well, maybe I can redeem myself in New Game Plus 8. Alright, let's continue with the prototype for the Bat of Chaos. This time I'm actually using the Morion blade as a weapon, because it's surprisingly effective against the piles of rubble that you need to break. I also have the Makoto sword equipped, so that I will be in Hypermode for the final part of the fight. Well, fight, it's not really much of a fight to begin with. Alright, he's finally down. Now all that is left to do is to equip the spear and finish it. The stupid thing is that you still have to be careful, as he has tiny little puffs of flame breath that can still kill you. So it's all about keeping your distance and hit his chin twice with an R2. It's a bit anticlimactic for a fight against the freaking god of dragons, but there you go. Alright, that's it for World 2. If you like what you saw, make sure to do a jumping R2 on that like button and subscribe for more. Definitely hit that notification bell and let me know what you think in the comment section. And I'll see you again in part 3. Thanks for watching.